Hello, 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 hello. We should be live. Thank you everyone for tuning in and welcome along to the coverage here in Miami. We are 25 minutes away from the start of FP1 and we will have the data loading very, very shortly for 2026. Right now we've got the 2025 numbers up on the screen. Seems like you guys are able to hear me, which is fantastic. I had a bit of a scare. I set my stream start time to 5 p.m. instead of 4:30, and well, that was not very. Yeah, that was just a bit of a moment that I've been having, and luckily, starting only 5 minutes late, so. Not too shabby, not too shabby. There's been a lot of spring slop. Yeah, there's been nothing really of interest going on in Formula One. The rules have changed, which I would say has been the most interesting thing in the entire month of April. And yes, quite a lot of upgrade packages. You know, Ferrari, Red Bull, loads of different teams have brought upgrades. So what we will do is once the 2026 data loads, I will download the FIA document and we'll look through the upgrades for which team, you know, what everyone has brought, and well, it'll be nice and exciting. Okay. Aston's still cooking. They've got 0 design upgrades. Oh, have they? Well, I haven't. I didn't see that. I saw that, you know, Ferrari brought upgrades and things like that, but Aston with no upgrades is a big surprise. What are they doing exactly? I'm not exactly sure, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Wait 2 months to see Mercedes win again, lol. Well, we'll see, we'll see. Also, have you guys seen that there is a forecast for a thunderstorm in Miami on Sunday? It is, it's like a really big thunderstorm. 90% chance of lightning and heavy rain, essentially. And potentially the race might get cancelled because of it. I don't know if that forecast is still, you know, correct as of this moment in time, so let me just double check Miami weather. But the last time I checked, it was still heavy rain for Sunday, and yeah, so we'll see how that goes down. A wet race in Miami would be very exciting indeed, but well, let's see how it goes. All right. What time is it in Miami? I'm not actually sure. I'm sure someone will know. Let me just check on my phone. It is midday in Miami. It's approaching 12 o'clock. Yeah. Well, it's 11:30. 11:40. It's almost 4 a.m. here in New Zealand, but I need to put a bet on later before sprint qualifying, so we're barely here surviving. Fair enough. Yeah. Sprint quali will be nice and exciting very early on in the weekend, of course. The drivers are approximately going to get 20 laps or so of practice. I looked at the numbers from last year, and in FP1 most of the drivers did 20 or so laps. We did have I think one of the Saubers last year did 13 laps because they had some issues, but apart from that it should be 20 laps for all of the drivers around this circuit. Any fixes on the F1 26 regulations? They have changed quite a few things. You know, they've tweaked the battery deployment and the energy recovery and things like that. So look, I can't give you an exact is this going to be better? Is it going to be 10% better, 5% better? Like, I don't know. We will just have to wait and see. But from, you know, what I've read and when I thought about it, I think it's a step in the right direction. There's still a few things that I would change, but I'll get into that a little bit later on. Right. Feels like there's been an entire season. Yeah, I know it was a very long break. I mean, what did you guys get up to? I have practice is 1.5 hours. Oh yeah, it is. Why have they done that? because everyone's brought upgrades or because there's a new regulation? Well, there we go, 1.5 hours of practice. So it will be then 30 laps that the drivers will be doing then. Yeah, as you can tell, I have not been, fully on top of everything Formula One, given that I didn't know practice was 1.5 hours. Oh, is that why it got shifted half an hour before? When did this change? When did they change it from 1 hour to 1.5 hours? Because I set my stream up to start at 5 p.m. because I thought FP1 was starting at 5:30. They must have brought it back early. Anyway, yeah, I've been doing a lot of revision because I've got my final exam of my engineering degree next Friday. So, a lot of work has been going on in the 1 month break. And also I've got my my dissertation, my sort of final project that I've got to do as well. So yeah, that has been taking up a lot of my time, and hence Formula One has, I haven't been staying up to date with it. Because I wanted to check the new regulations. Fair enough. Does make sense. Thanks for the good looks, folks. Much appreciated. Yeah, hopefully I'm not going to need any luck. Hopefully the exam does go well. But yeah, I've been preparing for it for a while, so it should be fine. Where to watch? You can watch it on ORF. Let me just pop it up on the screen for you guys. We've got a link in the description to Proton VPN. Okay. There we go. That's that. Okay, we should get the 2025 data, 2026 data loading through shortly. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, not yet. Oh, it still thinks that we're at Suzuka. Well, brilliant. Let's just, yeah. Okay, back to Miami. If you look at the power unit info sheet, it's still at 8.5 megajoules recovery. I don't know what happened to reducing it to 7. I'm pretty sure they're doing that in qualifying. So they're reducing it to 7 in quali. That means there'll be less lifting and coasting, and it'll be more sort of like full throttle attack sort of thing in qualifying. Yeah. What branch of engineering? It is mechanical. Mechanical engineering is what I'm doing. Become a race engineer and save Ferrari, bro. Yeah, that would be that'd be pretty exciting actually. Working in Formula One. What will happen to the cancelled races? Nothing will happen actually. No, no points get awarded, of course, because nobody did any sort of racing, and we will just have 2 less races this season. It is a sprint weekend. It is. So we will have sprint quali in a few hours' time. I heard Honda fixed the vibration issue. We'll see. I mean, reportedly they've also brought no upgrades, so I don't know how they fixed the vibration issue if they've got no upgrades, but we'll see. GP is leaving Red Bull. Yes, that is correct. Max Verstappen's race engineer is confirmed to leave Red Bull and join McLaren in 2028, if I remember correctly. So that's what's going on down at McLaren, which is interesting to say. Down at Red Bull, which is interesting to say the least. A lot of sort of key important figures at the Red Bull team have departed, and well, now it's the job of sort of the people that were junior to them to see if they can move up into the senior roles. They've got very big shoes to fill, and we'll see if they can live up to the challenge. Right. After FP1 is the sprint race. No, it is sprint qualifying, so they'll have quali, and then and then they'll have the sprint race tomorrow. Tomorrow around about this time, actually. Let me just double check. Yeah, so in 24 hours and 15 minutes is when the sprint race will start. So yeah, that's when you want to be tuning in for the sprint. Whereas Isaac Hadjar, we have got the 2026 data loading shortly. As of right now, we've only got the 2025 numbers. So let's see if we get the data. Oh no, still we're getting the Japanese Grand Prix data. Oh god, that was a long time ago. All right, they did reduce the energy, but it's depending on the FIA documents. All right, fair enough. Thanks for the information. Okie dokes. Yeah. All right then. So we've got quite the exciting weekend ahead. Rain forecast for Sunday. Lots of upgrades. Extra half an hour of practice. It's good to be back. Yeah, next race after Miami is also in 3 weeks, isn't it? It is. It's quite the while away. We have got, so today is the 1st of May, and in 3 weeks' time, we have the Canadian Grand Prix. So on the 22nd of May, we've got the FP1 session, and the Canadian Grand Prix is also a sprint weekend, so another sprint weekend in 3 weekends' time, but for two weekends, we have got no Formula One action. DRS zones, we have got our 3 DRS zones there on the map, but they're from last year again, so we'll get the updated sort of straight zones and corner zones onto the screen. But yeah, same as usual for 2026, the straight mode. All right, where is Cadillac? Cadillac are loading. Of course, it's Cadillac's home Grand Prix, their first home race, and it will be we'll see how many American fans there are out there to cheer on Cadillac, and yeah. Do you think Mercedes will be dominant since they banned the quali technique? Look, it's just a little bit too hard to tell with so much complexity, and also with the rule changes that have come in, you don't know exactly how much performance Mercedes was getting from the quali trick, how much they weren't, and maybe there's some other team, right? Maybe, for example, we could have Ferrari or Alpine get a load of performance from the quali trick that we don't really know. So yeah. What's one regulation change you would make if you're FIA president? It's got to be, it would have to be the V10s. Or, I don't know, if there's only one rule change, smaller cars, lighter cars, yeah, I'm not sure. FP1 is 90 minutes, yes, that is correct. It's just taking a while for us to get our FP1 data. For whatever reason, the data system is still stuck on Japan, so we will not be getting. Well, we haven't got the 2026 numbers up just yet. Thoughts on Ferrari? Well, look, it's we'll see. I think did Red Bull develop a Macarena wing? I think I saw something, but I didn't know if it was fake or not. But Red Bull have apparently got like a wing that flips around like the Ferrari one. I have no idea if that's true, but someone could let me know. And my thoughts on Ferrari, I think that they're going to get close to Mercedes. That is my prediction. Okay, Red Bull have a copy. Okay. Fair enough. Well, that is good to see that at least it was a good idea, right? It's an idea that's worth copying, but it does it the other way around, right? Okay, fair enough. Interesting. Cool. Well, we'll see if they use it. We'll see. Ferrari, I don't think are using it this weekend, from what I've seen, but we'll see. Predictions for Aston Martin. Well, they've apparently, according to everyone in the chat, saying that Aston Martin have brought no upgrades, so probably dead last. Yeah. Why can I watch FP1 using a VPN? You can watch it using ORF. O for Oscar, R for race, F for Ferrari. Yeah. They will finish the race. Ooh, I mean, I don't know about finishing the race. We'll see if the vibrations get too much for the drivers again. Yep, Red Bull made the Macarena wing. It flips negative 160. They submitted the idea to the FIA in August, right after Ferrari. Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, Red Bull have got much bigger issues, to be honest, than making a Macarena wing. They have to lose all of the... Red Bull was severely overweight. We will see if they're now, at the weight limit or not. But extra weight is the worst possible thing you can have a Formula One car because, if you're down on power, at least through the corners, you can, you can still make up time. You can still be quick through the corners. And then if you're down on downforce, then down the straights at least you're still quick, and then through the corners you're suffering. But if you have extra weight through the corners, you're worse because you're having to you've got more force going through your tires because your car's heavier, and then in the straights as well you're worse because you've got to accelerate up a bigger car, and then on the brakes also you're worse because then you've got to decelerate a heavier car. So yes, getting rid of weight was priority number one for Red Bull, and I suspect that will have been the first thing that they've done. And then once they've worked through all of the weight issues, they will now, start looking at more aerodynamics upgrades, more chassis upgrades and things like that. Do you think the main race could be on a Saturday? Well, I am not I'm not sure how they're going to do it, really. I did see that the forecast has got thunderstorms, and it's going to be an issue. Not so much, it could be a thunderstorm and it may not even rain that much, but we will still not be able to race because what would happen is basically the rule is that within the track, so from the circuit, there has to be like a top-notch hospital with all of the facilities that you need to have to deal with a potential injury from like a Formula One crash, right? And if there isn't a hospital within 30 minutes range of the circuit, then you need a medical helicopter to fly from the circuit to the hospital. So normally it's a 30-minute distance by car, but if that's not possible, then you have a medical helicopter. And in Miami, the hospital that the FIA require is far enough away that they can only get there via the helicopter. And, they can get there via a car, but it's just going to take longer, and that's not, what they want to do. They want to have a very short duration. And for that reason, if there's a really big thunderstorm and the clouds are super low and there's really strong winds, the helicopter can't take off, and then on medical grounds, they stop the race from happening. So that is a potential thing that could happen on Sunday, but again, there's lots of if, buts and maybes, and we'll have to see what the weather does, because let's be honest, right, we have all seen the weather forecast 3 days out in advance, 2 days out in advance, and how often is it really that right? I know at least here in the UK, it's never really that right, but who knows, maybe it's better for other parts of the world. Okay. How's your new job, adult life treating you well? No, I'm still at university. I've still got my final exam of engineering to do next week on Friday. So I got the job and I'll be starting in September. So, yeah. But got still some more engineering to do, and then I'll have a nice holiday, nice break. Miss your streams, thanks folks. Yeah, I mean, I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys have had a nice entire April, really. So yeah, good fun, really. It's more than just the medical centres. State law requires outdoor sporting events to halt if there are thunderstorms for fan and participant safety. Oh, fair enough. I didn't actually know that about Florida, But yes, the medical helicopter, the hospital thing at least, is a rule all around the world. And then, yeah, here in Florida, we've got a few more rules as well. All right. It is mechanical engineering. Yeah, mechanical engineering. Any chance of a Verstappen podium? Well, look, we'll see if the Red Bull upgrades have worked. We'll see what is going on. Right, are we getting this live data? Because it is seemingly... Okay. Doesn't look like I have any live data working for me right now. Let's see if anyone else on YouTube is also having issues. But... yeah, it doesn't seem like the 2026 data has just started rolling through yet. How do I watch for free, folks? If you want to watch for free, it is, well, you've got to pay at $1 for a month. You get Proton VPN, and then you connect to an Austrian VPN server, and then you search RF Formula 1, and you can enjoy. There's a link in the description to Proton VPN, so go ahead and check that out. Okay. Oh, Jedify, thanks for the donation there, buddy. Lovely to see you back. Well, lovely to see to be back. Yeah, I do enjoy it. I hope good to see you back as well. And it is good to be back. Really, I've not had much to do over the weekends, and getting rather bored. You know, there's only so much revision that you can do, yeah, and there's only so much work that you can do on a dissertation. So, yeah, it's good to be back. Good to have something to do. Proton VPN should start sponsoring you at this point. Proton VPN do sponsor me, so that is very, very nice of them. And well, to be fair, I use Proton VPN and Proton Mail and all that stuff before they sponsored me. So I was quite happy to switch over from Surfshark and over to Proton VPN. Let's get some likes in. Oh yeah, that would be much appreciated, folks. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Definitely would help out the channel, as I'm sure you all know. It's my fault, actually. I haven't updated the like counter. There we go. We're up to 354. Brilliant. All right, then, 3 minutes away from the start of FP1, and by the looks of it, we are totally lacking any sort of data from the FIA. Yeah, the FIA still thinks we're in Suzuka, folks. So, good start. Good start. You'll love to see it. Right. Let's see. Is there anything that I can do about this? As far as I can tell, not really. Yeah. As far as I can tell, nobody's got any numbers. Nobody's got any data. So here we are. You know what I will do, actually? I will take you through a flying lap of the circuit. So let's go through to... Here we go. Right. So here you are entering towards the final corner, and... oh, well, sorry, not the final corner, but the end of the lap. And from this point onwards, you're flat out. You just want to go to the left, to the right, and you get onto the start-finish straight. Then in towards turn 1, relatively big braking zone here, quite a sharp corner, good overtaking opportunity as well. Then through turns 2 and 3. And now this is the sort of the high-speed sector of the lap. You're going through some very, very high-speed corners here. You're going to see just a little lift off the throttle, downshift, and then through there in 6th gear, then 5th gear. And then you make your way towards turn number 7, which is extremely tricky. You can see there me drifting out wide while trying to get onto the brakes and turn at the same time. We saw loads of lockups there last year, and we'll be seeing more of that this year. Yeah, you continue down this straight, which is a little bit wibbly wobbly for whatever reason, and We'll have straight mode activated here, where the drivers can, of course, drop their front wing, their rear wing to go quicker down the straights. Then you get towards the very slow part of the circuit, turns number 11 through to 16. Very tight and twisty, but you can have some good battles here, go very side by side. The curbs here are quite harsh, but you do have to take them to optimize your lap time. It gains you so much lap time by going close to these curbs. On this wall here on the right hand side, so just where the Qatar Airways logos are, let me just rewind a little bit. Yeah, we actually see a lot of drivers here hit the wall on the right hand side, because as you can see, there's a very long run out there. This is turn number 16. You've got this huge straight along the top of the circuit, and yeah, the driver's trying to get as much speed onto the straight as possible. So quite often we do see a little rear wheel touch the barrier there, and most of the time the drivers get away with it. Then you're going down this straight right, and you know, you're going and going and going and going, and finally you get onto the brakes. You make your way through turns number 17, 18 and 19, and you'll be flat through 18 and 19 anyway, unless it's wet. And there you are. That is a lap of Miami, ladies and gentlemen, and it looks like we're also getting the data coming through. Wait, what's gone on here? Why is the map like this? What's going on? Alright, I'm going to give this a quick refresh. I have no idea why it's just changed direction or shape. Yeah, give me a sec. I think this is the same for everyone. For whatever reason, the orientation of the map has changed. So I will get that adjusted shortly, folks. Yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. It really does go and help out the channel quite significantly, folks. And let me get rid of that as well. Okay, and this countdown timer can go. All right. Let's see. Bit of adjusting to do here. Yeah, we've got quite a few drivers out on track, but I am going to have to change a few things here. Okay. Yeah, okay, I think that's going to be as good as I can get it for now. I will look and see if I can get that changed later on, but for now, it seems like this is what we have. Okay, yeah, so we've got drivers out on track, hard tyres for everyone as they leave the pit lane. They'll be doing quite a few install laps, you know, just make sure everything's running as expected, and then they'll be making their way out onto the circuit shortly. Right. Also, I should probably move my webcam. Where is that gone? Yeah. Okay. So 1 hour, 30 minutes of practice today, an extra 30 minutes because of the new regulations. Oh my God, track temperature 53 degrees Celsius. It is very hot in Florida, unsurprisingly really, but 30 degrees air temperature, 54 degrees track temperature. So yes, the hard tyres will be the tyres that we'll be using for the majority of FP1. The drivers don't really want to be burning through any set of soft tyres, and potentially we might even see in sprint quali the medium tyres be the optimal choice of tyres so they don't overheat throughout the quali lap, because that is again a concern with track temperatures being that high. And Yeah, we got Sainz out on track. So is Hamilton. In fact, we've got 13 cars out on track, and Oscar Piastri makes that 14 as he has exited the pit lane. All right. Is it live? Yes, we are live, ladies and gents. We are live. I will also, once we get a little break in the action, right, once all of the cars come into the garage and aren't doing anything, I will go through the FIA document for all of the upgrade packages. It'll just be nice and interesting to see who's got what upgrades and who hasn't, because Aston Martin doesn't seem like they've got any upgrades. Rain on Sunday. Yes, we do have rain on Sunday. That is the forecast, at least. We'll wait and see what actually happens. The wind also 0 kilometers per hour wind. So it is a very hot and still day out in Florida. And the wind's just picked up a little bit. But yeah, not too much of a concern for the drivers right now. Oh, you know what I can do? I can make the size of... I can make the icons bigger for the drivers. Give me a sec. Well, that's Hadjar up into 4th position there. Not too bad. All right, I think this is a little bit better now. Yeah. Okay, very nice, very nice. And Sainz up into 3rd position, and Norris currently top of the times, Max 2nd. But again, this is FP1. We're not really looking at anything remotely relevant. If we look at the 2025 Miami pole time, we shall see how far the drivers are off the pace. So the 2025 pole time was a 1 minute 26.2. So the drivers, more than 5 seconds off the pace, and it's obviously not much of a concern right now. Okay, we've got 4,000 people watching. Thanks everyone for tuning in, by the way. Hope you guys are enjoying. And if you are, then be sure to hit the like button. Would be very much appreciated. Okay. So, Antonelli is making his way out onto the circuit, so is Russell. We've got the 2 Cadillacs out on medium tyres, actually. A bit strange there for them, but yeah, out on the mediums. We'll see how they cope. No Astons, well, they'll be coming out soon enough, and so will the Alpines as well. Give them some time, let them get out onto the racetrack. Yeah. Okay. Hamilton, purple in the 1st sector. Wind has picked up a little bit. Temperatures also dropped down. And maybe we're getting some clouds out onto the circuit. Clouds covering the sky, not onto the circuit themselves. And Perez driving the Cadillac quite nicely, actually, through the middle sector. Not looking too bad there for him. Okay, so just the Alpines and the Aston Martins yet to come out. Everyone else has made their way out onto the circuit. We will be expecting approximately 30 laps in total from these drivers throughout the 1.5 hour practice session. So right now we've got Charles Leclerc, who's done 5 laps already, and he has hit the ground running. Well, last year we had 20 laps or so. This year, of course, we've got the new upgrades, new changes, new regulations, so maybe we'll see more than 30 laps. All depends on the team's schedule and, of course, how comfortable the drivers are with the setup as well. Given that we do have sprint quali a little bit later on in the day, the drivers want to get their setup ready for that, but they also want to get as much information about the new upgrade package. So it's big old big old dilemma. What do you do? Do you focus on the setup, which will get you potentially a good result for the sprint quali and the sprint race, or do you try and figure out, well, is your upgrade package working or not? Because you do have to consider, right? Here we're in Miami, and then another in 3 weekends' time we'll be in Canada, which is again a sprint race, and because it's again a sprint race, you're not going to have enough time to, make to work out if your upgrade package is working or not. So then you've got, after the sprint race in Canada, then you've got Monaco, and Monaco isn't a great circuit to be testing upgrade packages as well, because you've got your own special Monaco downforce package for Monaco. So the teams have nearly got a month without them getting a representative look at what their upgrades are doing in a practice session, at least. They'll of course figure stuff out during quali sessions and races, but it's so I think most of the teams will be focusing now on trying to understand if their upgrades are working and what to do about these new tweaks to the regulations. Okay. Yeah, it's a 57 lap race. It is showing on ORF. I'm watching it on ORF, so it's it's definitely showing on ORF. Maybe you'll just have to double check you're connected to an Austrian VPN. Astons are still in the garage. Alpines are now out, so the only cars remain with 10 minutes into this practice session are the Aston Martins to hit the track. Hello man, been a while. Yeah, there has been a while, folks. Hope you guys have had a nice April. We've had an entire month without Formula One mid-season, which is something that hasn't happened in a very, very long time. And we're getting loads of team radio messages coming through, actually. That's coming through way, way too quickly. But at least the radio system's working, right? And yeah, mostly it's just drivers, of course, being told that there's someone behind them and they've got to watch out. But Isaac Hadjar, getting coached, telling him to change some clicks on... I think Isaac Hadjar's asking for some more front wing. On his car, he's asked for 3 clicks of front wing angle. So we'll see if that helps his performance. Right now, he's about 0.6 off Max Verstappen. Colapinto comes across the line, 14th position for him, first lap done in the Alpine after the spring break, shall we put it that way? Yeah, spring break. Got 5,000 people tuned in. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys are enjoying. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Hopefully we can make our way towards 1,000 likes. Charles Leclerc across the line into second position there, and that is him on a set of hard tyres that he's now completed 7 laps in. All right. And Lewis Hamilton up into P3, very nicely done there. 0.2, 1.5 tenths back from Charles Leclerc. Hamilton fastest through the speed trap. That is, maybe he got a tow. Maybe the Ferrari is just really quick in a straight line. We shall see. Or what will be the much more likely case is that his battery was just deploying a bunch of charge, and that's why he was quick down the straights. What about the weather? Well, it is totally dry on Friday, totally dry on Saturday, and then on Sunday we have got a thunderstorm forecast, a very big thunderstorm, and well, we'll see if the race goes ahead, if the thunderstorm actually arrives like it's forecast to. We've got Max Verstappen now up into P2 ahead of both Ferraris in 3rd and 4th, and he is still 3.5 tenths off Lando Norris. Oh, we got a yellow flag. Who's that for? Someone going slowly. Oh, back to green flag. All right. Gasly says over the radio, it smells very strange in the car. Understood, having a look. Interesting. I mean, typically you get some weird smells when you're like burning lubricant or hydraulics maybe, but yeah, I'm not sure exactly what could be causing that weird smell. Folks, what do you think of the new V-carb livery? It's quite yellow, quite gold, if you want to put it that way. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I much prefer their Japan livery, to be honest. All right. Looks like a banana, yeah. All right, we've got Lawson up into ninth position, not too shabby. Carlos Sainz fastest in the final sector. Can I show Lash's pole time? Yes, I should probably put that up on the screen, but Lash's pole time for a reference, folks, 1 minute 26.2. Okay. All right, got that. Got that there. So yeah, with the drivers are around 4 seconds off, 5 seconds off, and to be expected really. Miami International Circuit is not used all that often, and hence there is a lot of dust and dirt and gravel and sand or whatever it is that needs to be blown off and cleaned up off the circuit. And also the momentary yellow flag that we had was because someone locked up and went straight on, I think at turn 1 or maybe turn 17, and they had to just spin around a little bit. Arvin Lindblad having a few lockups there, and yes, lockups quite common around here in Miami, especially when your track temperature is so high, 48 degrees Celsius. You've got a few tricky corners like turns number 7 and turns number 8 where you're braking and turning at the same time, and yeah, a few big braking zones as well. Another issue that you quite often see is that your front brakes actually get too cold going throughout the lap because you've got such huge straights and then moments where you're not using the brakes that much. So yeah, what you're going to see, right? So the drivers get onto the brakes for turn number 11, very, very big braking zone, and then they go through 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, all like they're barely using the brakes, maybe giving it a little tap here and there to slow the car down to rotate. But then all the way towards turn number 17, then they're going down this super long straight, all in straight mode, right? So they've got loads of top speed, loads of air going through those front brake ducts, and potentially there's a risk that your front brakes cool down too much, and not optimal braking performance in that situation either. So it's a tough one to manage, but the teams will have, they will adjust the brake duct size accordingly to whether they're getting overheating or overcooling. All right. I don't think Red Bull have got their Macarena wing. At least not. I haven't seen it. Look, if Red Bull were running the Macarena wing that they had developed, I'm sure they would have shown a shot of it on the TV broadcast. So, yeah. The Aston's still in the garage, by the way. It doesn't seem like they were doing that much work on the car when they last showed it, but yeah, not out onto the track. Mercedes sandbagging for sure. Oh, yeah, 15th position for George Russell, 5th for Antonelli. Clearly some sort of sandbagging going on because McLaren have still got the same power unit, and McLaren haven't just gained a bunch of aero tricks over the little break. So yes, Mercedes are sandbagging. Surprise, surprise, really. The team that sandbagged for the entire preseason and told everyone that Red Bull was the fastest is sandbagging again. I'm not really surprised. Red Bull is running the flip wing. Oh, right. Well, I guess I'm just an idiot then. Apologies, folks. I did not see that on the broadcast. So, but I've been corrected, and there we go. We've got an issue from George Russell saying it's making a noise like a train. I'm not sure exactly what he's referring to, but clearly not too happy, and some issues there. Wait, is Ferrari running the... No, Ferrari isn't running the Macarena wing, no. Behrman just put 3/10 on Ocon. That is crazy. Yeah, Behrman honestly is Behrman's doing a great job, and the Haas team principal was actually giving Ocon some flack for it publicly. He was like, Ocon, you're too slow compared to Ollie Behrman, and he put that in a very public way. So, I'm not sure exactly how that relationship is going between Ocon and the Haas team principal, but clearly not that well if he's come out publicly and said that Ocon needs to do better. Agil's quite the way off. Max Verstappen right now 8/10 of a second between the two teammates. Between the two Ferrari teammates, we've got about 3/10 with Hamilton being the quicker one. But I think Leclerc's on a quick lap now as well, actually. So we'll see where that puts him. Hamilton's had a few issues, though, going a little bit deep in towards turn one, and then, yes, more locking up for Hamilton and flat spotting his tyre. Oh, Kimi Antonelli jumping the curb there at turn number 15. Will the Ferraris have a win before the break? Well, things are looking all right for them so far, but still a long way to go. No, Ferrari aren't using their Macarena wing in Miami. No. If there's lightning spotted in Florida and they don't stop the race/events, I thought that was a rule/law. That is correct. I think in Florida, someone in the chat said that Florida has a rule about not having sports events during thunderstorms, and the FIA also has a rule saying that you need to have a helicopter be able to fly to a hospital in case of an accident or a crash or whatever. And again, that cannot happen under a thunderstorm. So, yes, most likely, if there was like a full-on thunderstorm exactly when the race was meant to begin, it would either get delayed or cancelled. Is RB using the Macarena wing? Apparently so. Which website to watch it on? It is ORF. ORF is the website that you want to be watching the coverage on. Alright, folks, we've got 6,000 people tuning in. Thanks everyone for tuning in, by the way. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. Good to have you guys here. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Would be much appreciated. And, yeah, good to be here, really. Good to be back with Formula One. The Audi livery does look quite nice in the sun, I must say. Glistening, the silver glistening in the sunlight. Pretty nice. Red Bull haven't copied Ferrari's wing exactly, so apparently it rotates the other way. So the Ferrari wing, I think, rotates like... I don't know, I'm not going to be able to describe it very well, but the Red Bull wing rotates in the opposite direction, but ends up in the same position anyway. So, close enough. Oh, it looks like the Aston Martins are finally hitting the track, ladies and gentlemen. Lance Stroll emerges from the pit lane 23 minutes into the practice session. F1 Gamer, can you please explain the last battery issue with Lando? What is the penalty? Thanks. There is no penalty as of right now for Lando Norris, but if he does take any further battery packs, then he will be faced with a penalty. Essentially, there is, if you do not operate your battery correctly, right, if you let the voltage get too low or if you let it overheat or, there's loads of numerous things that you could do to damage a battery. And if they've done that, and the battery's unrepairable, then Lando Norris, in some situation, will need a new battery, and he'll have to take a penalty for it. So, yeah, that's the situation down at McLaren. And it'll be a grid penalty. That is correct. Okay. We've got Antonelli up into P1, so clearly no sandbagging going on there, and they're doing all right. Purple in sector 2 and sector 3. The two sectors with the really long straights. Sector 1 hasn't really got that many straights. Sector 2 and 3, though, they do. And Antonelli top of the times by a quarter of a second. Imitation is the highest form of flattery. Indeed, it is, and Red Bull have imitated Ferrari. Clearly, it was a good idea. James Vowles also said it was a good idea. It's just that he didn't think of it. So, innovative, and maybe they'll see it pays off for them. Maybe it won't. But Ferrari's implementation, at least according to Ferrari, they find that it has little to no effect, and that's why they haven't run it in many races. Please remember us when you are on the official broadcast. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get onto the official broadcast anytime soon. I did apply to actually to Sky Sports to be a commentator for, I think it was the Spanish Grand Prix practice session or something, or maybe the Dutch Grand Prix practice session, and I didn't get it. So there you go. Clearly not good enough. Clearly not got enough subscribers. So what you guys need to do is hit that subscribe button. All right. F1 is back tax. Yeah. Oh. What was it? All of the F1 drivers were gonna get put into an Italian jail because they didn't pay the right amount of tax or something. Wasn't that that was in the news a week ago or something, wasn't it? Yeah. Thanks for the donation, C. Paul. Much appreciated. And there was something about that. I mean, look, for all of the Formula One drivers live in Monaco, and they don't live in Monaco for the history and the heritage and the money and the casinos. They live there because they have to pay no tax. So yeah, that's I'm not surprised that they that there's some sort of issue regarding tax. Long time no see, yeah. Long time no see, folks. Hope you guys are doing all right. We have got most of the cars now back into the garage. First sets are runs complete, now setups to be changed, and then they'll be back into the pits to evaluate what their upgrades are doing. Don't think Lando's been in the pits for a little bit too long. I mean, Lando has completed 9 laps, so has Oscar Piastri, so has Kimi Antonelli, so has quite a few other drivers, to be honest. So is Hulkenberg, right? So it's not too much of an issue. I think if they fall more than 5 laps behind, 8 laps behind what everyone else has done, then it becomes very clear that they've got an issue in their car. Okay. F1 Gamer isn't FP1 normally an hour. It is. However, due to the new rules that they've changed and due to all of the upgrades and everything like that, we've got an extra half an hour of practice. Remembering us when you... Okay. Will Toto help Aston, as reports suggest? I don't think he'll be helping Aston Martin. I don't know exactly why he would do that. But look, what's the rule is, it's the ADUO rule, the additional development and upgrade opportunities, or yeah, that's what the rule is. That's what it's called. Honda qualify for that rule because they are sufficiently slow enough behind the Mercedes to qualify to get additional upgrades and upgrade opportunities, so they have more time to develop their engine and to make it faster, whereas I think Red Bull might not get that opportunity. It's still a little bit up in the air. Just join the stream. Have I missed any info? How's Max doing? Max is doing all right. I mean, like everyone's doing all right, really. No major issues apart from the Aston Martins who've not done many laps, and we've had a few lockups here and there, but pretty standard for a practice session. Which driver do you think the Italian tax commission was after? I mean, I would assume that they're after an Italian driver, surely. So maybe it's Kimi Antonelli. Um, I don't know. Question: how many seconds behind is acceptable for Cadillac? I would say it is acceptable for them to be 2 seconds, 3 seconds off the back. Because look, the thing with Cadillac is right, is that they're starting mostly from afresh, which is why they are going to be that far back. Whereas a team like Audi, they are already building on top of what Sauer already had, so that's why you'd expect them to be a lot closer. Jihu, thanks for the donation. Hi Larry, Red Bull have plenty of vacancies. Why don't you apply? Well, firstly because I've already got a job, like a job offer lined up. But also, as per the rules of working for a Formula One team, you having such a big social media following about a topic as such as Formula One, and also working in Formula One is not really allowed per se. The teams would rather just not hire you, and than take the risk of me accidentally leaking something, right? Because look, if I was working at Red Bull, for example, and I was working on a new design or whatever, obviously I would do my very best not to leak any sort of information, but it just sometimes it happens. You're not thinking too hard. You're waking up at 3 a.m. to commentate a race in Australia or whatever, and you leak some information. So it's the teams don't really want yeah. But also, I've got another job which I'm quite happy to do. So yeah. F1 Gamer in your disruption. How will they deal with the potential disruptions for the last few races of the season? Well, Stefano Domenicali has said that that they have alternative options ready. So, they have been preparing for this situation. If the Middle Eastern conflict was to continue on for longer and longer into December, I think, well, the whole world would have a lot of issues, but Formula One also would have issues, and we'd have to, send the races elsewhere, potentially into Portugal. We've had that race confirmed. We're going to be racing in Turkey, so that is brilliant news. So maybe they'll, bring the race to Turkey 1 year early. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm very glad that we are racing in Turkey, and it's a great circuit. It's very fun. The drivers like it. So, yeah, pretty pleased with that one. Okay. Will the races cancelled be brought back in the latter half of the season? No, they will not. The latter half of the season, if you do look at the schedule, it is extremely tightly packed. And if you were to add in a few more races, then what would happen is that you would get like 5 weekends in a row of Formula One, which is not optimal whatsoever. Yeah. Okay. What's the progress with the interview on the Mercedes mechanic that you were going to do? Well, see, yeah, I've just been revising for my exam, so I have forgot essentially. Yeah, lots of revision. I mean, I was up at 6 a.m. to go revise today, so my final exam of engineering. So yeah, but it will get done at some point. It will. But yeah, just not top of my priorities really. What's your opinion on Colapinto's road show in Argentina becoming the most attended F1 event with over 600k spectators? Well, look, I think it's brilliant, right? Like, Argentina has got clearly a very big following of Formula One, and Colapinto has got a lot of very loyal and very invested fans, if you want to put it that way. So it's great, and Colapinto, that will mean he's more likely to stay in the sport with that many people coming to an event. There's many more people likely to sponsor Colapinto, so it's good for Colapinto, and maybe we will get another race down in South America. We've got Brazil, and potentially another one could be added in. Thanks, Fondage, for becoming a channel member. I think I remember your name from somewhere, or maybe I'm remembering incorrectly, but much appreciated. GU, thanks for the donation again. Last question, F1 Larry. Clearly, Kimi and George will take points off each other after a 5-week break. Then 5 minutes into the first session, Lewis is fastest. Is he a dark horse? Well, look, I can't give you an exact answer, but if the two Mercedes drivers carry on squabbling, which I think they will, I think that there is a good chance for a third potential driver to come in. Now, I don't know if that's going to be Lewis Hamilton. It could be the McLaren drivers. It could be Charles Leclerc. But yes, the two Mercedes, I think that is I believe that will happen for the rest of the season, that we'll have the two Mercedes squabble amongst themselves for quite a few points. Bring back the German Grand Prix. Yeah, I mean, the German Grand Prix, incredible race circuit. I mean, in what's it called? Either the Nürburgring or the Hockenheimring. Either of the two would be fantastic. But yeah, haven't had much, to be honest. Okay. Also, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Would very much be appreciated. Also, the other thing is Sebastian Vettel actually competed in the London Marathon here in the UK. He completed a marathon in just under 3 hours, which was pretty cool. And given that he's my favourite driver, it's my duty to inform you of that. And also at the end of the marathon, he gave an interview and everything, and it was just giving me flashbacks to all of the interviews that he gave in Formula One. Like, it was a very similar style of like question and similar sort of answer. So that was nice to see, nice throwback. I think I've just missed a donation here. F1 Gamer, do you think Ferrari will qualify for the mid-season engine upgrade? I haven't seen a clear yes, no, and I know Toto is politicking to try and prevent it. Well, I think that Ferrari won't get it. I think Ferrari is relatively close. Like, they're not obviously right on top of Mercedes, but we'll have to see with this new change in regulations, because essentially what this is doing is, if you imagine, right, like you've got a bar chart of important things in upgrade packages. So also, sorry, if you imagine like a stats thing for your engine, like, oh, we've got 10, we've got a score of 10 out of 10 for power, and a 9 out of 10 for acceleration, and a 5 out of 10 for battery recharge or whatever. With the way that now they've modified the regulations, it changes how important each sort of stat is. So maybe your engine horsepower from your internal combustion engine is more important now, and your battery recharge is less important, or maybe it's the other way around. So with the changes in, we'll have to see how all of the teams do, and that will decide what will happen for who gets the upgrade pack, like the option to upgrade further, and who doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Vettel got knighted in a school in Scotland. Oh, did he? I did not see that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. How do you watch Formula One live? You connect to an Austrian VPN server, and then you go onto Google and search ORF Formula One TV. So that's O for Oscar, R for Race, F for Ferrari, and then you can watch the coverage. Yeah. Or was it in Sweden? Interesting. Okay. It's Austria, not Australia. Okay. Why is the map rotated? I have no idea. It wasn't rotated when for 2025, but for whatever reason, it's been changed around. When is Sprint Quali? Sprint Quali is in. Let's have a look. 4 hours time from now. Is it? Yeah. 4 hours time, or 3 hours and 50 minutes from now. Okay, 50 minutes remain of this practice session, and yeah. Okie dokes. So, what else is going on right now? We've got approximately 13 laps done by. Well, yeah, 13 laps done by Antonelli. Norris has done 15, so the most laps completed: 17 by Charles Leclerc, 17 by Alex Albon. And yeah, drivers still lapping around. A few drivers on push laps, but mostly you can see, right, hard tyres. Track temperature is still up at 53 degrees Celsius. Air temperature is still up at 30 degrees Celsius. So, there you go. Right. Is there much else really going on right now? As far as I can tell, not a huge amount of stuff going on right now. Yeah. Oh, also, I can gift a few memberships, so I'm just going to do that. Give me a sec here, folks. There you go. All right. Yeah. Oh, my mouse is glitching out. Give me a sec. All right, yeah. We've got the McLarens getting very, very close to the walls there. But yeah, the drivers now starting to push the limits a little bit. I mean, we're still up in the 1 minute 30s in terms of best lap time. Most of the drivers right now lapping in the 1 minute 34s, 32s, because, well, they're not really pushing too hard. They've got quite a lot of fuel in the car. This weekend is Charles Leclerc's 175th Grand Prix start. Wow, quite the while that Charles Leclerc's been Formula One. Of course, he joined in 2018 with Alfa Romeo Sauber, then moved up to Ferrari in 2019 after having quite the good rookie season, really. I think his best performance in his rookie season must have been Interlagos, where he did quite well in a wet quali session. And yeah, got moved up to replace Kimi Raikkonen in Ferrari. And, since then he's been at Ferrari. He's been Ferrari's golden boy. And he's back now at the top of the times here in FP1. Brilliant. Good to see. Good to see. Okay. Will there be any race that got rescheduled out of the ones that cancelled? No, there will not be any rescheduled race. So this season is going to be 22 races instead of 24. What's happening to Oscar? I think Oscar's just done less laps than Norris has. Yeah, done 2 less laps. So I think just a few more setup changes to make for him, so he can get more comfortable with the car. All right. So who has the fast lap in Miami? Well, it's Charles Leclerc as of right now, but in terms of pole, it was 2025 pole time. F1 Gamer Man, I missed watching your streams. I didn't fully because of the bad regulations. Yeah, I mean, the regulations I don't think are that horrific. Obviously I'm not that big of a fan of them, but they're all right. Yeah. All right, then. So 44 minutes remain of free practice, and we have got about half the cars out on the circuit right now, other half still in the garage. Only 8 laps completed for Fernando Alonso, 9 laps completed for Lance Stroll, 7 completed for Sergio Perez. So clearly you can tell that Sergio Perez has got some pretty big issues with his car, and that's why he hasn't been out on the track all that much. We've got Stroll and Alonso also not doing that many more laps. Alonso, as I say that, just exits the pit lane, but he's out on a set of soft tyres. Oh, interesting. We'll see what Alonso can do on a set of soft tyres. Oh. What are my sprint quali predictions? Probably just a Mercedes on pole position. I guess it's a safe bet, isn't it? But yeah, safe bet. Thank you for the gift, F1 Gamer. No worries, folks. No worries. I can. I think I can give a gift a few more as well. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. 5 more gifted memberships. Brilliant. How many hours from now till the sprint? It is 3 hours and 45 minutes. We got Charles Leclerc leaving. 3 hours and 45 minutes. Yeah. Charles Leclerc leaving the garage soon enough. What's up with George? Why such a big gap? I think George was having some issues with his car, so he is a little bit behind on the run plan. But also, there's just not a huge incentive to push right now when sprint quali is only a few hours away. you don't want to be taking risks to damage your car, to do whatever. Again, we've got upgrade packages, which means that people have got maybe only one set of spare parts of the upgraded version, and they've just got the then they've got to revert back to the old spec and the downgrade. So again, more of a reason not to push so hard in practice. Yeah. Fernando Alonso finished third in the 2023 Miami Grand Prix, and he's almost going to, well, he's right now nearly 19 positions back from third in 22nd. We'll see what he can do now with a set of soft tyres. Stroll also out on a set of softs. We'll see how the soft tyres cope in the 52-degree track temperature heat here in Miami. The 2025 pole time was a 126.206. I can just adjust that. Give me a sec. There we go. All right. Also, we're getting loads of lap times deleted here, right? We're getting Ocon, Verstappen, Albon, Bortoletto, Bottas. Lap times deleted at turns 15 mostly, for the most part, has been the biggest issue for drivers. But turn 17 also has been a problem with drivers going wide and getting their lap times deleted. I'll take you through another flying lap of the circuit while we are here waiting for some more action. But let's just pop this over here. So you make your way through turn number 17 here. You're flat through 18 and 19, and then you approach the start-finish line, which is on a little bit of an angle, actually. So what you'll see is on the race start, that some drivers will be not directly behind, but they'll be off to the side a little bit because the track is curved. You make your way through the circuit. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, sorry, this is the first sector here. And turn number 7, this is the biggest issue in the first sector, where you're turning and braking at the same time. You can very easy to drift out wide like that, and then you make your way back onto the racetrack. And you've got a very long straight, a little kink to the right, a little kink to the left, and then you carry on going. And it's then a very big braking zone of turn number 11. You've got straight mode through this entire straight here. You can also deploy your battery, of course. And onto the brakes you go for turn number 11, 12, and 13. We saw some really, really good battles here last year. I think Kevin Magnussen also had some brilliant racing when he was here with the Haas team. So that is back in 2024 maybe, 2023 maybe. And now you make your way towards the final corner, final few corners. Big braking zone again, another overtaking opportunity. And here you can potentially set up an overtaking towards turn number 1. It's not always the best idea to overtake into 17, because then you'll get re-overtaken in towards turn 1. But those are your sort of options when you are racing around here in Miami. F1 Gamer, lots of people do not know how to use the membership. I mean, like, it's just next to the subscribe button. There's a join button, and all that'll do is it costs like $1, €1, £1 per month, and it helps out the channel basically. So if you guys are interested, then go ahead and become a channel member. But yeah. Going to be a madness on Sunday with the rain. Indeed, it will be. There'll be a whole lot of chaos on Sunday. If the race actually goes ahead, that'll be the first thing, really. We're not 100% certain if the race will go ahead. But we'll wait and see if we get a more accurate forecast or not, right? I don't know who has the most accurate forecast in Florida. I think Florida has, hurricanes, right? So surely they must have some pretty good weather radars and weather tracking systems. So maybe their weather's more accurate than other places in the world, but who knows? Yeah, oh, I would love for a race to happen in the rain. Because look, let's put it this way: Miami hasn't got the most, it's not very historic in terms of like, oh, Formula One always raced here, and this is why it's a really cool racetrack. The racetrack itself also is not the best track in the world. Like, it's got some pretty good overtaking zones and things like that, but still not right up there. So rain can always improve things. Okay. Will Max race out of Formula One again this year? I mean, if you mean that will he race out of Formula One in terms of will he race in GT3, I'm sure. I'm sure at some point he will race outside. But the calendar is getting pretty packed, right? So maybe in the summer break, maybe between now and Canada. But we shall see. Because I think they shifted something, right? They moved the dates of one of the races, GT3 races, so Verstappen could take part. I can't remember exactly. Sports cannot happen if there are thunderstorms. Law in Florida. Well then, I guess who decides if it's a thunderstorm though? Like, is it the Florida weather officials or is it like, yeah, I don't know who exactly decides. Oh, see, Paul, thanks for becoming a channel member. Much appreciated. Unfortunately, Trump is defunding the NOAA, the National Weather Service. Oh, not ideal. Not ideal. Yeah, I guess the National Hurricane Center or someone official will have to decide, and then yeah. Current favorite track on the calendar, it's got to be Interlagos. Interlagos is definitely up there as one of the best tracks in Formula One. F1 Gamer, do I Xbox? I do have an Xbox. It's been a while since I've played on it, but yes. So potentially you could have seen me on Xbox Live. I think my username is F1 Gamer YT 548. I think I can't remember now. I don't know. All right, let's see what the Aston Martins. Not too bad their laps really. 132s from them, but yeah, we are around 4 seconds off last year's pole time, and I don't think we're going to be getting that much closer. At least in this current session, because track temperatures are so high. Maybe when maybe if a cloud or something covers up the sun and track temperatures fall, we could see some improvement in lap times. But as of right now, it is looking pretty tough to improve. And Charles Leclerc, the only driver to dip into the 1 minute 29s. All right. Hadjar complaining about the downshifts. Oh, what is going on? Why can't Red Bull make a gearbox? Max Verstappen was complaining about them, saying these downshifts are like cars from the 1960s. Hadjar now complaining about the downshift as well. I do not know exactly what it is, but I think gearboxes are a pretty proven technology. There's not that much innovation to go on there. So, what exactly is Red Bull playing at? I mean, it must be it must be in pursuit of saving weight. That is the only thing that I can really think of, and they're designing the weird gearbox in a weird way to try and reduce the weight. What VPN to Austria? You can use Proton VPN. You can use any VPN, but if you do use the Proton VPN link in the description, it does help out the channel quite a lot, and well, that would be much appreciated. Any thoughts on the Indian Grand Prix? Well, look, if it goes ahead and if we get some racing there, that'll be fantastic. Is MotoGP thinking about racing in India, or I don't know if India racetrack? They are, aren't they? Or maybe they did before. Okay, no, they are. Apparently, I'm not sure. But if they could get some other racing series there as well, that'd be pretty nice. F1 Gamer, do you think Cadillac will improve drastically over the years or have a slower pace? No, I think they'll improve. I think by the end of this season, if you look at okay, so what you can do each year, you can compare the pole time from the car from the previous year, right? So obviously this year can't be done, but let's say from 2025, you could look back at the pole times from 2024 and you could see which team has improved the most in qualifying from 24 to 25. And again, from 26 to 27, you'll be able to see who has improved their car the most. And I think Cadillac will be the team with the biggest improvement from their pole times. Yeah. Okay. F1 Gamer, is Red Bull sandbagging or are they doing damage control for being a midfielder using the mediums? Um, I wouldn't I wouldn't worry about it too much, to be honest. That's my honest answer. We have no way of knowing what their run plan is, what their fuel loads are. So yeah, I'm sure if you listen to me talk about preseason testing, there was a lot of this. But essentially, you're gonna have to wait 3 hours, and you'll find out if they were sandbagging or not. It's not too long of a wait. F1 Gamer BYD entry, your take? Oh, I'd love to have BYD join Formula One. I think a lot of the new cars that are getting made in China, especially the electric cars from BYD, from Xiaomi, are pretty cool. I think Xiaomi, or was it Xiaomi or BYD? One of the cars hit 500 kilometers an hour on a test run. It wasn't like a sustained 500. I think they just hit it and then got back onto the brakes. But there's some pretty cool tech, and BYD has got a lot of engineers. I think 150k engineers. From one of the things that I heard. So I'm sure there'll be quite a few good engineers for Formula One. Yeah, and then maybe we'll find Guan Yu Zhou back in the sport. Of course, he had a lot of Chinese support, and if a Chinese team was to enter, then they will of course have that incentive to bring a Chinese driver in. In with Formula One, and of course for Formula One as well, as we know, the only thing that they do like is money. And when you've got such a big population like China, there is there's a lot of merchandise that you can sell. Admittedly, it'd probably be made in China and then sold right back to them, but that's how it goes. Was it not 500 kilometers that was reached? Okay, maybe it was like 490 or something. But still pretty cool, right? Like, it would have been even cooler if it was an internal combustion engine. But I still pretty cool. Okay, 496. Ah, pretty cool. Yeah, yeah, 496. So I mean, uh, either way. All right. What else have we got going on now? Most of the cars out on the track. Most of them lapping in the 1 minute 34s. We've got Sainz in the 1 minute 33s, Verstappen in the 133s, the Ferraris in the 133s, but everyone else 134s. BYD also build buses. Yeah, I mean I think when I said they have 150k engineers, I think it's not obviously just in the car division. I'm sure they build loads of other things, right? In the same way that Honda or Yamaha, right? Like Yamaha will have a motorbike, and then they'll also have a lawnmower, and they'll also have a jet ski, and what other stuff does Yamaha do? Oh yeah, they make electric guitars and they make pianos, and right, so yeah, wide range of stuff. I think Mitsubishi make trains or something. I'm not 100% sure. Uh, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. I think they make trains. All right. 26 minutes remain. They make aircon, they make fridges. Oh, there you go. I mean, Honda make jet engines as well. There is a Honda Jet as far as I remember. So there you go. Larry, if you could drive any F1 car past or present, which one would it be? F2004, no question about it. F2004. It's got to be it, surely. Um, maybe Seb Vettel's Ferrari, Red Bull that he won in 2013 with, but it's got to be between those two. The F2004 was just an absolute rocket ship, and it still had the Monza record up until 2018. So it was 14 years ahead of its time in terms of how quick it was in Monza. Mitsubishi VS 262 Messerschmitt. Oh, okay. Do you think Lindblad has the skill to take a second seat? Lindblad's not doing too bad really. Like right now, of course, he's not anywhere near Lawson, but you do have to consider this is his first time at this racetrack, so he's never raced here before, and it takes a bit of time to get used to these things and learn and etc. etc. We'll see how he does. The W11 is rocket ships of all rocket ships. Yeah, true, true. Could be the W11. Um, yeah. Not sure. Renault 2005. Has anyone broken down yet? No, actually. Nobody has broken down, at least visibly on the track, right? We have had some issues. Perez has only completed 16 laps so far, whereas Charles Leclerc has done 28. So lot of time lost there for Sergio Perez because he did have an issue in the garage, and the Astons were also 20 minutes late coming out onto the circuit, so they've lost some running time, but no breakdowns on the racetrack itself. Okay. Will they do runs on soft? Maybe. It's tough to say really because now track temperature's up to nearly 55 degrees Celsius. So Aston Martin did some runs on softs. Bottas is now coming out on soft tires, and they might just find that the soft tires overheat way too quickly, making it just a useless tyre essentially, and they want to actually drive out on the mediums. You have again got to consider it's sprint quali, so they will be using the medium tyres in sprint quali 1 and sprint quali 2 and only use the softs in Q3 if they want to. They can still use mediums if they have any available. So yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. FIA banned Mercedes and Red Bull quali cheating exploits. Will it affect them? Well, we do not know how much lap time they were gaining from the quali exploits. Maybe it was fraction of a tenth. Maybe it was 4 tenths. We have no idea. So we'll see in 3 hours' time. Yeah, it's really not a long wait, guys. Really not a long wait. All right, slowest through the speed traps, we've got the two Aston Martins, 301 kilometers an hour. We got the quickest through the speed traps, Max Verstappen, 333, and then in second position, a much more reasonable speed is 325 from George Russell, and yeah, so quite the big difference though between the quickest and the slowest through the speed traps. Nearly 30 kilometers per hour is well, not even nearly. It is 30 kilometers per hour, 31, 32. So there you go. Right, the big gap there between the Astons. Once FP1 is over, I'll go through the FIA document just to show everyone all of the upgrades and things like that, and then we will we'll be getting ready for sprint quali. Yeah. F1 gamer Vettel was 1 hour off the pace in the London Marathon. I saw. I mean, look, the London Marathon, they broke the 2 hour barrier, didn't they? The two people broke the 2 hour barrier in the London Marathon, which is pretty dang awesome, really. And yeah, Seb Vettel finished it in 3 hours, or 2 hours 59 and 40 seconds, or something like that. So pretty nice there from Seb, and yeah. Do you have sprint quali today? Indeed we do. F1 gamer, should I eat Toblerone or Lindor? It's got to be Toblerone. Yeah. F1 gamer, did you ever hear back from the commentator job opportunity? Unfortunately not. Sky Sports just did not reply to my application, so I'm going to assume that I've been rejected. Yeah. But I'm not too fussed really. Still got the YouTube channel, so not too concerned. Okay. F1 gamer, since Red Bull changed their side pods and new wing design, what are your thoughts on Red Bull performances? Do you think Mercedes feel threatened? I cannot give you an accurate, I don't know what Red Bull's performances were like. Verstappen was in the 133s. Red Bull, their pace looks all right, but we just don't have a reference point. So I think Red Bull will gain a reasonable amount of time from this upgrade package, right? Because typically, right, actually, this is a big thing. So we, in Formula One, most often, we see a team will bring an upgrade package and then they're not 100% certain whether this upgrade package is actually going to help them out. And by how much is it going to help them out? It's very sort of up in the air. Or maybe the aerodynamics does work, maybe it doesn't work, maybe it works when it's warm, maybe not when it's cold. And that is, very much with the aerodynamic side of things. But there is a simple fact that if you reduce the amount of weight in the car, then your car will go faster. And there's no if, buts, maybes. There's no any exception scenarios, right? If you have less weight in the car, your car will go faster. And Red Bull were overweight by a significant margin. And now, if they reduce their weight, which they have done in this upgrade package, they will go faster. And there's no if the upgrade package works, then we'll go faster. They will go faster, it's a guaranteed sort of thing. The question is, how much closer will they get? And that is still a little bit uncertain. Yeah. Obviously, just reducing the weight isn't going to be a magic bullet that fixes everything. They're not going to suddenly become quickest team on the grid, but it will put them closer to the McLarens, closer to the Ferraris, and give them a shot at potentially a podium. Did the Astons improve? Not really. No. I think Max will get a podium. Maybe not this weekend. I think maybe if it rains on Sunday, there's a chance. But again, it's we don't really know how quick they are. So my spidey senses tell me it's Lewis's weekend because he's on his honeymoon allegedly and has wings. Lewis has wings? I don't think Lewis has joined the Red Bull team, has he? Did Williams improve? Well, look, I will go through the. In fact, actually, there's not really that much action right now going on the track, so I will quickly. Actually, no. Let's just wait. We'll wait. I'll wait 15 minutes. Once the session finishes, I'll go through all of the upgrades with you guys. But I think Williams has got upgrade packages. So, why is everyone in the pits? Mainly because I think it was on reasonably short notice that they were told that it was going to be an hour and a half for practice. I myself didn't know until the stream had already begun, but that's sort of more my fault because I was too busy revising for an exam, and yeah, they probably just haven't got their run plan sorted out for what they were supposed to do in the last 15 minutes. Actually, what they will be doing is probably taking some fuel out of the car and going for a quick run towards the end. Just get the drivers, sort of into the flow, into the rhythm of things. It's important to get the drivers feeling a little bit more confident. I think, Limblad as well hasn't driven around this circuit before. Important to get him some more time really attacking the circuit. And the same can be said for a lot of these other drivers, right? We haven't been in Miami for a year. They haven't raced at this circuit for loads of years in the past, right? It's not been a circuit that's been around from the 2000s or anything like that. So, yeah, good for the drivers to get some practice. How much time left for sprint quali? 3 hours and 15 minutes. Your sprint... My sprint quali prediction... I think I said it earlier, like a Mercedes on pole position because I'm just giving boring predictions today. We've got more Carlos Sainz complaining about noises. We had Oscar Piastri complaining about smoke in the cockpit from his brakes. So, as I was referring to earlier, here in Miami, you do have a bit of a balance to strike with your brake duct size. The bigger you go, the bigger chance you run of cooling down your brakes too much going in towards turn 17 and turn 11, and then of course too small, that means you're going to overheat your brakes if you're driving around too slowly. So I think potentially what could have happened, right? So you're going into turn number 17, you go really full onto the brakes for turn number 17, and then you come into the pit lane, and in that situation what might happen is, because you're essentially coming down to a stop, you're driving really, really slowly, there's not enough air going through the brake ducts at that moment in time, and your brakes are really hot still from turn 17, so as you enter the pit lane, there's potential that your brakes catch on fire. So maybe that's what happened to Oscar Piastri. I don't know for certain, but that seems like a likely possibility. Crazy speed trap speeds from Verstappen. Yeah, honestly, it definitely was going full send and using his overtake mode there. A McLaren hosting a barbecue in his cockpit or what? Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Wait, is this fake water? I mean, are you guys seeing this? This is, why have they got, or have they covered it up? What anyone that was watching the footage just then, what was I didn't actually have they covered up the water with something else to make it safe or something, because it looked like it was just plastic, fake water with boats. It's fake water. Why would you want fake water? I mean, okay. Right, Miami's fake marina is the saddest thing ever. Must be the water, folks, must be the water. Okay, I mean, it's just painted, right? That's brand new. Never heard that before. Never sort of imagined anyone would have. Who signed off on that idea? Let's just add some fake water in and then have a boat there that can't move. I mean, I guess, they're not wasting any water, but I thought Miami was near the coast anyway. Or, well, actually, I have no idea where Miami is. I just know it's in Florida, and I know it's hot. Is Miami near a beach? Near the coast? Miami, Google Maps. Honestly, I need to improve my GeoGuessr game. Yeah, Miami is near the coast. All right. 11 minutes and 56 seconds remain, and as you can see, we are getting soft tyres, ladies and gentlemen. So put your predictions in. Who do you think is going to be top of the times? Currently, right now, we've got Charles Leclerc first, Antonelli second, Hamilton third, Norris fourth, and Verstappen in P5. I have heard of Miami Beach. It's quite famous, isn't it? Yeah. But the track is far away from the coast. Okay. I know Miami Beach was a popular spot on Pokemon Go back in the day. Oh, that was a long time ago when Pokemon Go was popular. All right. So, yeah, soft tyres. Max Verstappen in the first sector, 30.8. Charles Leclerc in the first sector, 30.6. Very nice. And, well, it's actually quite nice for the drivers here. Between turns number 8 and 11, there is just this very long straight, right? Barely any load on the tyres. So it does give an opportunity for tyres to cool down a little bit. Obviously, they're not cooling down that much when your track temperature is 55 degrees Celsius. There's just not that big of a temperature gradient. But, you know, they are cooling down momentarily. And then you go through the tight, twisty part of the middle sector, and you get Verstappen across the line, and it's a 25.050 in the final sector, and it's a 129.776 in the overall lap time. Charles Leclerc, purple first sector, purple second sector, and now here he is coming towards the start-finish line. Let's see what Charles Leclerc can do. Here he is. Getting a little bit of a tow here from Pierre Gasly, from Colapinto as well. And across the line goes Charles Leclerc, back up into P1, 3/10 clear of Max Verstappen. All right. And next up is Oscar Piastri on 19-lap-old hard tyres. He casually goes 2/10 slower. What? Okay, no, it's okay. That was a glitch. He's on soft tyres. The data is clearly just having a bit of a moment right there. But yeah, he's on softs. He's not on hard tyres. George Russell a 1 minute 30.1, so he's about 6/10 back from Charles Leclerc, and we'll see what Antonelli can do. Okay, what's Hamilton up to now? He is, I think, starting another flying lap, maybe? Yeah, Hamilton starting another flying lap. And Norris makes his way out of the pits, and he is on an out lap now. Alrighty. We're still getting more lap times deleted here, folks. I'm not really mentioning it because it is practice at the end of the day, but turn number 1, turn number 5, turn 15, turn 11 are key sort of, issue zones, if you want to put it that way, where the drivers are having issues and they are going wide. So got to be careful there. But Hamilton purple in the first sector, 0.5 up on Charles Leclerc. Very, very nicely done by the British driver. Did they upgrade both Red Bulls? I do not know that. I will double check for quali, but as of right now, it's not looking so good. Maybe they have. Maybe they've only done one. But I would have thought, they've got the entire month of April to make some upgrade packages. Surely you can make 2 parts and give them to both of the drivers. Yes, Piastri's data has glitched. He is on 2-lap-old soft tyres or 3-lap-old soft tyres. It's not 20-lap-old. All right, Lewis Hamilton, his second and third sectors weren't that good, and he comes across the line in third position, 1 millisecond back from Max Verstappen, so not that big of a gap whatsoever. Nicely done. Okay, Norris, purple first sector, and he goes, a nearly full 10th faster than Hamilton in the first sector, so some nice pace there from Lando Norris, and 2/10 up from Charles Leclerc, in fact. Let's hope that Max is ahead of the Alpine. Yeah, that wasn't the greatest race there for Max, being stuck behind an Alpine. Yeah. Okay. How's Red Bull long run pace? Did they suffer any reliability issues, drivability? Their downshifts have been bad, but in terms of reliability, everything else has been pretty good. No, not too many complaints. They've obviously changed around the setup a little bit here and there, but sort of standard stuff. Yeah, we've got both Ferrari drivers getting coached over the radio, telling oh, Norris misses his braking point and goes deep. So yeah, lap aborted there for Lando Norris. In theory, though, if you'd put the lap together, that would have put him in second position. So if he hadn't locked up in the final corner and you do his theoretical best lap time, that would have been P2 for Lando Norris. And yeah, both Ferrari drivers getting coached where they're braking too much, where they're braking not enough, and yeah, their entry and exits to corners. But it's good to see that, and then they'll be trying to implement everything that they've been told over the radio on the next flying lap. Oscar been complaining about his brakes for the last 10 minutes. Yeah, I mean, if Oscar was complaining about the fact there was smoke coming out of his brakes, so I'm not surprised that if he's still complaining about them, because there must have been some sort of damage. There's clearly not enough time to change the brake pads, I'm guessing. Lando Norris went deep and is blaming it on the Williams ahead of him. Okay. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, legitimate issue. He was getting pretty close, actually, to the Williams, so drivers have got to watch out. It is quite easy here, actually, to sort of get to hold someone up. There's a big old queue at turn number 17 during quali sessions, and quite often you see drivers blasting past at 200 k's and 300 k's, and then you've got other drivers going only at 50. So I can replace brake pads in half an hour. Yeah. Oh no, you can replace brake pads pretty quickly. It's just that Piastri hasn't been in the pits for that long for them to replace the brake pads. So there you go. Yeah, but Piastri still up into P3. So not too shabby there from the Australian. Okay. Yeah, 4 minutes and 20 seconds remain. Very nice indeed. And quite the exciting FP1 session. Not too much crazy action or anything like that, but we have had some compromised running for Sergio Perez, for Fernando Alonso, and for Lance Stroll. Also Valtteri Bottas as well. Those are the... We have Antonelli also with some issues. Just would like to confirm Antonelli's only done 24 laps, whereas his teammate George Russell has done 29, and some other rivals like Verstappen have done 36 laps, and so has Charles Leclerc. So 12 laps short for Kimi Antonelli. So there's an issue with his car, which they'll be looking to get resolved before the start of sprint quali. Potentially some more issues for the other drivers that are in the garage right now, but nothing confirmed as of yet. Lawson's already done 37 laps, so he might already be done for the session, to be honest. He might come out, do maybe one lap on a set of softs. Okay. Piastri's data is glitched. He's not on 22 lap old soft tires. He was on 20 lap old hard tires, and then he switched onto the softs, but the age counter didn't didn't get reset back to 0. So he's on 2 lap old soft tires, I think. Yeah. All right. I think it's time to break out the meme. Where's it gone? Yeah, there we go. It's back. It's back. Oh, why is it? Right, there we go. Yeah, we'll see what Ferrari can do, but currently top of the times, 129.443 from Charles Leclerc. And Leclerc improves again. brilliant. And purple again improves by about a tenth or so. Still, though, he's only quickest in the middle sector. He's third fastest in sector 1 and second fastest in the third sector. Okay, Fernando Alonso up into 19th position there on a set of mediums. Oh my god, track temperature is getting up to 56.7 degrees. Folks, what do you think the highest track temperature is that we're going to get? Is it going to get any hotter than 56.7 degrees? I think it's 57. I mean, this is the highest that we've seen all year round. In Budapest, it gets pretty hot, but the highest that I recall in Budapest is 54, I think, maybe 55, but I do not recall ever a 56. Yeah. And yeah, more lockups there for Norris, and yeah, it's getting tricky out there. It's getting tricky out there with those soft tires. There's also, it seems to be that there is like a little bump or something along the entry towards turn number 1, because drivers quite consistently are locking up their outside tire, which is not the tire that you typically see getting locked up. Typically, it's the inside tire that gets locked up, but yeah, the outside tire. So there must be some sort of bump on the braking point, and that's what's causing issues for the drivers. Bahrain is pretty hot, but it's normally a night race, or we're having our practice sessions in the afternoon or the evening, so we don't actually get the sun super high up in the sky, and yeah, so that's why it doesn't get that hot. But we did have a Bahrain day race before, some point in the 2000s, and that was, I think, the hottest race on record. Yeah, I think. But there we go, folks. 4 seconds remain of FP1. That is FP1 done and dusted. Nobody else. Actually, no, Hadjar's on a flying lap here, so let's stick on here with Hadjar, see what he can do, and then we'll go through the upgrade packages for who's got what upgrade and things like that. All right. Singapore sprint is going to be hard. Singapore will be pretty bad. We'll see. Hulkenberg and Hamilton have been noted for impeding, so stewards are on it. They are keeping these things noted, and yeah, Hulkenberg was definitely in the way of Lewis Hamilton, just not early enough on the call over the radio, and nearly had a crash there. Aston is in the top 20. Let's go. Yeah, it's pretty bad to be an Aston Martin fan, to be honest. Yeah. What's happening to Arvid? Arvid just hasn't driven at this circuit before much, and he also hasn't. Well, he's never driven at the circuit before, to be honest, and he's also not gone out on soft tyres either. So that's why you're seeing such a big pace difference compared to him and Lawson. So that's why. Yeah. All right, Isaac Hadjar comes across the line and yeah, doesn't improve on his lap actually. So there you go. But what I will do now is, so that's the end of FP1. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm not going to end the stream just yet. We are now going to go through the upgrade packages. So what I need to do first is pull up the upgrade packages here. Okay, and now I'm going to just move the track map off, move that, turn that off, turn this off. Okay, and now you guys can see the document. Okay, so a lot of upgrades here. So McLaren, they have got upgrades to their pretty much everything. I mean, you look at this. Yeah, this is the McLaren car. Everything that is circled is an upgrade package. So yeah, lots of upgrades there for McLaren. Mercedes, they have got their front corner changed and their tailpipe. So pretty minor stuff here. You can just see towards their brake ducts and then their exhaust area. Red Bull with a lot of upgrades here. In fact, it goes on to the second page, so 7 upgrades, and yeah, pretty much just the entire car has been circled here for upgrades. Let me also just get rid of the radios, actually. But yeah, so that's the upgrade package there for Red Bull. Just everything has been circled. Then we go on to Ferrari again. Ferrari have gone for 11 different changes, and again, you know, rear wing, side pod, floor, brake duct, diffuser, anything that you can imagine, all upgraded. We've got Williams with 7 again, and Williams has been clearly a little bit more targeted, right? You know, certain areas have been improved, certain areas have just been left totally alone. This is Racing Bulls. They've got upgrades to their front wing, their brake ducts here at the back, and also their floor edge over here, and then of course the rear wing as well. No upgrades submitted. Oh my god, big F in the chat for Aston Martin. Yeah, not a single upgrade submitted. Game is gone for Aston Martin, to be honest. They need to leave the Formula 1 before the Formula 1 leaves them. And Haas have got some diffuser upgrades, so pretty minor stuff for Haas. Audi have got front suspension and diffuser, so again, like, yeah, suspension area and then the diffuser at the back of the car. We've got Alpine here with 6 changes to inlets and rear wings and things like that. And Cadillac with 9 upgrades as well. So yeah, you can see all of the Cadillac car. I can't scroll down any further, but yeah, you can just see everything has been upgraded on the Cadillac car as well. So that's a summary of the upgrade packages, folks. Hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. I think once I've set this up, so once this stream finishes, it'll take you over to the sprint quali stream. There you go. All right. Okie dokes, folks. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys have enjoyed the coverage, and I shall see you all for sprint quali in about 3 hours' time. Yeah. Hope you have a nice 3 hours. Okie dokes. Bye bye, folks.